Hey Abigail, here we go. This is your full body workout that you can do a few times a week, 2 to 3 times a week, whatever you have time for. It should take about an hour. Let's see how we get on with it, how long it actually takes. And we are going to be using some equipment. So the equipment needed is a resistance band, some dumbbells, and your exercise ball, like the one that you had for doing your pregnancy stuff, like sitting on the ball. I think they're called a yoga ball or an exercise ball, something like that. So we're going to get started with the yoga section, doing a few stretches. So you can take your shoes off for this. Then we're going to do a little bit of weights and a bit of a cool down again at the end. So this is a nice full body routine. And I think it has everything that you're going to need in it. And I think it's going to be super if you can get to doing it 2 or 3 times a week. I think you're going to see some nice improvements. So let's get started by just lying down on your back. And we're going to get started with our bliss breath. So you can just close down your eyes and just take a moment to get settled here on the mat. And this is not only useful for the yoga part of it, tuning in, you're kind of tuning into yourself. It's also going to be good for the weights as well, just connecting to your body. We spend a lot of time up in our head, so this is a nice time to use the connection, mind-body-breath connection. So just noticing how it feels, having your body lying down on the mat, getting a little bit more in tune with those lovely subtle sensations. Your back, all your back body, the backs of your arms, just resting down on the floor. And we're going to go with following our breath throughout the body as it moves throughout the body. So first we're noticing how the breath is entering and leaving the nostrils. Now taking the hands to the chest and just becoming aware of the movement of the chest as the breath enters and leaves the body. Taking the hands down to the ribs, placing them either side, and noticing that expansion upwards and outwards of the rib cage on the inhale and retracting again on the exhale. Moving the hands to the belly. And just letting our awareness sit at the belly, noticing the rise and fall of the belly. Taking the hands down now to the pelvic area so that your palms are resting on your hips and your fingertips are resting on your pubic bone, and noticing the expansion and retraction here as well of the deep pelvic floor muscles. Not that you're exactly touching them, but you're noticing some little movement in the bones. You can feel the lower belly kind of expanding and retracting. So we're kind of tuning in here to the base of our core. pelvic floor muscles can be seen as like a basket of muscles at the end of the rest of our core, yeah? So we've got the basket of the pelvic floor, and we've got our oblique muscles here at the front, our side obliques, and then we've got our back muscles. Okay, now let's rest the arms down by the sides and just turn your feet so that the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. You know, if they had been splayed out, now your toes are pointing to the ceiling. And try pushing one heel down into the mat, down into the ground, and releasing. Pushing the other heel down into the ground, and releasing. And just do those a few times either side. And this is another way of connecting with our lovely deep pelvic floor muscles, which we often bypass in our normal daily life, daily activities. We kind of lose connection with that area. Lovely. Now we're going to bend at the knees, plant the feet on the mat, and we're going to do some bridges. So first of all, let's just figure out where our pelvis is in space. So let's just arch the back and then press the whole back into the mat. Arch the back, press the whole back into the mat. So no room between the mat and our back, as if our whole back is glued to the mat. And then arching the back as if you could definitely get your hands underneath there. Here we are moving the pelvis back and forth. Okay, now go to that position where your whole back is resting against the mat, like it's glued to the mat. And just check that you're nice and solid in your feet. You might want to lift your toes, spread your toes, and then plant them back down. Now let's push through the feet and slowly lift the hips off the mat and take them up. Now, what I want to try with you here, see how this feels, is engaging the glutes, so like pressing, and then just really super slowly releasing down to the mat. So not releasing all of a sudden, but try it really slowly, letting go of that tension in your butt, because I know that you have some, you know, pelvic pain and that your glutes are tight. So this is maybe a nice way to help to release them, is to tighten, 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 and then just really soft, like gently, bit by bit, as slow as you can, start to just very slowly release them. This is called like a somatic movement. We'll do that a few more times. So we're not going for toning the butt here. We're literally just trying to get them into that squeeze position, which is what they're already doing too much of. And then we're slowly, little bit by bit by bit by bit, releasing them. So we're trying to encourage them to notice that they're clenching and then release nice and slowly. It's something that you can do if you're holding like stress in some part of your body, like your jaw or something. You can like tense it, tense it, tense it, and then just slowly try to release it. And it can work better than just trying to relax it. Okay, lovely. Next thing we're going to do is to stretch out that glute a little bit, is a reclined pigeon. So we're just going into our pigeon pose, and you can be just here if that's enough for you for now. And as you do this video more and more, you might find that you can get more of a stretch in there. Again, this is your, as I normally say in the yoga classes, your yoga practice, so you can take any movement into it that feels good for you, or you can stay still, whatever feels good for you. Keeping your shoulders relaxed down onto the mat, and just breathing into any area there in the glute that feels tight and uncomfortable for you. Let's swap over and do the other side. We're going to do a bit more stretching at the end as well. This is just our kind of pre-stretch. What else am I going to do? Yeah. if you are moving around and any part of it feels specifically tight or sore, try and linger in that place a little bit more so that you're really getting a nice stretch through any place that feels especially tight. So if you have inflammation, we don't want to compound that inflammation by making it worse. So don't go like 10 out of 10 in terms of leaning into the pain, but just a little bit so that you feel like you're working a little bit, like it's a bit uncomfortable. That's good. Okay, let's move over onto our bellies to work our backs a little bit. So we're going to start with cobra pose. Let's just take the hands under the shoulders, spreading the fingertips wide. The pelvic bone is pressing down into the mat. The front of the feet are pressing down into the mat. The elbows are hugging into the side body. And we're just going to move the chest forwards and up on the inhale and exhaling back down again. You don't need to put any weight into your hands. Just use your back muscles to get you up and down. This is really good, working your back muscles. Like, it's so good for undoing all that like rounded shoulder that we normally have as well. We want our muscles to be nice and strong. And it will really help us then when we go to lift weights later to have a nice base of strength in the back and connection to those back muscles. So just moving with your own breath, working at your own pace, yeah? So don't try and do exactly in time with me. Now we're going to go for our Sphinx pose. So let's take the elbows underneath the shoulders. Pubic bone still pressing into the mat, tops of the feet still pressing into the mat, fingers spread wide, and let's actively draw the chest forwards and up. So we're creating a little bit of a mild back bend here. And just stay here for a few breaths, working into the back. If it feels easy for you, like too easy at any point, like you're like, oh, this is boring, that's because you need to work a little bit more on your mind-body connection. You need to be like actively trying to bring your chest forwards and up, and then you're going to feel it more. You can even actively push a little bit into the forearms as if you're trying to push the floor away from you and your two hands away from each other. That kind of sensation. And then you really feel it again. Okay, let's relax out of this. We're going to go for our locust pose variation, arms, opposite legs, which is really nice for correcting any imbalances there in terms of muscle strength either side. So let's go with our, this exercise. We're raising up opposite arm, opposite leg, exhaling back down. Raising other opposite arm, opposite leg, exhaling back down. And we do a few of these. A really nice prep for going in to be doing weights later, both in the same session or else as a progression. Really nice to just develop this nice connection to your posterior chain. Lovely. From there, we're going to get up on our hands and knees for some cat and cow movements. So you know yourself, tabletop position, hugging the belly in so that we're in a proper tabletop, nice and strong in the core, pushing through the hands, and we're going to be dropping the belly, lifting the chest on the inhale, and rounding the spine, looking to the navel on the exhale. You keep going with a couple of those. I'm just going to tie up my hair. and cow is a lovely movement that you can do anytime. So if you're in any of those weeks where you've got a lot going on and for some reason you're not getting to your exercise program, or you don't have time to do it on the normal day, you're only going to do it the next day, you can just throw in a few cat and cows, a few different movements that you like, a few shalabhasana, locust pose, etc. You don't have to do a whole workout. Moving your body any amount is better than moving your body not at all. Oh, I love cat-cows, super. So now we're going to do our pelvic floor cat-cows. So I want you to resist the urge to move your upper back and just move the lower portion of your body. So the same movements you were doing before, except just the lower portion. So you're really just doing hip rotations here. I guess you could say you're anteriorly tilting the pelvis and posteriorly tilting the pelvis, whatever. You're moving your pelvis. So your tops of your feet are pressing into the mat, your fingers are spread wide, and you're focusing your attention on moving that pelvic bowl. And as I always say, I think just see what you can do if you just let go of your belly and your glutes and everything and try and soften everything and only focus on moving your hips. Even make your movements a little bit smaller, a bit more subtle. You might see, God, what muscles are engaging here when I actively try to unengage the bigger, more powerful movers. And see if you can, I was going to say ignite your pelvic floor, that probably sounds weird. See if you can connect to your pelvic floor a bit. And I'm talking about the deep pelvic floor. I'm not talking about your Kegel muscles, like you want to, those ones that you squeeze when you don't want to pee. I'm talking about the whole deeper pelvic floor muscles. The ones that pull on the pelvic bones to move them. Okay, so we're here, and now we're going to do another movement which I think is nice, which is cat and balasana. So we're going to our cat pose here. Oh no, sorry, yeah, cat pose here, that was cow, and then back to balasana. And then we're gonna go, yeah, we are gonna drop the belly and go to cow. So it's actually cow balasana. So we're in our cow and back to balasana. So we're coming up to all fours, dropping the belly, lifting the chest on the inhale. And on the exhale, we're dropping back into balasana. So unfortunately, I'm not going to stop the video to fix that error. And I don't know how to edit videos yet, so it's going to have to bear with me. Inhaling to cow pose and exhaling to balasana. Lovely. From there, we're going to come back to our all fours and we're going to do our hovering cat. That lovely abdominal toning exercise that doesn't really look like we're doing anything. I think my belly looks bigger because my thing is hanging down. But it doesn't really look like you're doing anything. But we are doing something, of course. So we're on our all fours and we're just going to press into the tops of our feet. We're going to hug the lower belly in towards the spine. Inhale, exhale, draw the belly in and lift the knees up off the floor. And let's just stay here for a few breaths. And relax back down. Now we're going to do another ab exercise. We're going to do plank with knees to elbow. Oh yeah, okay. So we're going to start in our plank. We're going to hug that lower belly in and up. And then we're going to take our right knee to the left elbow on the exhale. Inhaling back to plank. Left knee to right elbow on the exhale. Inhaling back to plank. So let's do that a few times, either side. I'm really feeling it anyway. Ooh. Keep going, a couple more. You really feel it if you're holding your hips in the right position, then you really feel it. And let's rest, let's relax the knees down. And now we're going to go for our adductor exercises, the inner thighs. So, one that we can do is lying on your side like this. You're lying, resting your weight on your forearm, and your other hand is just in front of you here, resting as well. So if your right leg is out long, your left leg is behind you, and you can come onto the ball of your left leg. Now let's lift the hips up off the floor, and we can just start by doing little pulses with the right leg. I'm going to give you an alternative if this isn't. Some of the girls in my exercise class said they couldn't do this. So if that doesn't work for you, then we can do this one, which is just your V legs. Take your hands, put them on the inner thighs, and try to push your hands together with your inner thighs, and use your hands as resistance. So push those legs away from each other, and your hands are pushing your thighs away, and your thighs are resisting that by trying to push into your hands. So you're not trying to go all the way in and out. You're just doing little pulses. Also press your lower back into the floor while you're doing this and try and relax your shoulders. Otherwise, if this other exercise is working well for you, we can go ahead and do it on the other side. So again, we're lying down on the left side of our body. Left leg is out long. The right foot is not in front, it's behind. We're on the ball of the right foot. And then we come up resting our weight on our elbow and the ball of the right foot. And the whole left side of the body is up off the mat, and we're just doing our little pulses with our left leg. So if you're using this video a few times over the course of the next few weeks, you might start with the V legs, and then you might feel okay to work your way up to this. And you can always have that other hand just resting on the mat for a little bit of balance. Lovely. Okay, we're getting to the weight section of this. Exciting. We're going to go for our quads, forward lunges with dumbbells. Okay. Just take a sip of water. And let me just put this up so you can kind of see me. So we're just going to start with our feet hip distance apart, and we're going to step one foot forward and take our left knee down towards the floor, and then we're going to push into the right foot and come back again to our starting position. And then we're going to do the other one, stepping forward with the left leg, taking the right knee down, pushing off the left heel, and coming back to your starting position. I feel like I should have had some music to go along with this. You just don't want your knee to go over your toes. It's okay if it goes over your ankle a bit, just not over your toes. And then as you get used to the program, you want something a little bit more challenging, you can do it with weights. You just roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Keep your core engaged the whole time, so kind of holding onto your core. And you're just going to do the same thing. Just make sure you have enough width between your legs so that you're on train tracks instead of a tightrope, so that you're balancing okay. And you're pushing into the right heel rather than the left foot. So you're always pushing into the front foot, the heel of the front foot, rather than the back foot. Some people think you need to press into the back foot. And I'm not going to tell you how heavy to take your weights, because it's going to be depending on how you feel. So you're First couple of goes you might go with no weights, and then you might go with, these are 2.5 kilos, which is pretty light. But you can see I'm already heavy breathing, so I didn't want to go with really heavy weights and then not be able to talk. Okay, the next one we're going to do is wide squat plie. Okay, so you can rest your weights down. We're going to come into a wide legged stance, and we're just going to come down into a squat. So see if you can get your knees tracking in the same direction as your toes so that they're not wobbling in like this. Get down as low as you can. I can see I can't get down very low at the moment. Don't use me as a barometer. If you're down like this, that's fantastic as well. And we're just going to start by, we're just lifting. I know you can't see my heels, but I promise you, I am lifting my heels off the ground. Rolling the shoulders open, holding on to the abs here, and just lifting the heels up off the ground and back down again. Let's do another 10 of these. Progression is just going deeper. Ooh. Okay. Now, next one we're going to work our adductors a little bit. Abductors, yeah, abductors. We did our adductors already. So we're going to lie on our side. We've got a few options here that I've written down. Okay. Just change the video so you can actually see me. Good. And we're going to start by just, so resting our weight on the right forearm. Left fingertips are just there for support. Our two legs are glued together. We're going to try just lifting the hips. So we're lifting the legs, not the hips, sorry. You can see what I'm doing. And then I've written down lifting hips. I wondered, what did I mean? Oh yeah, I know what I meant. Then we're going to do this, lifting the hips. Let's inhale here, exhale to lift the hips. Inhale down, exhale, lift the hips. So that can be just a progression. You can see how you feel. And then I've written down another progression, which is a bit mental, but we'll see how we get on with this. A side plank with a top leg lift. So we're working our abs already, and our shoulder and everything in our side plank, and then we're lifting the top leg. I'm just going to do 5 of these because I won't be able to breathe otherwise. 3, 4, 5. And let's do the other side. Okay, so lift both legs. Okay, we'll go with a few of these. I wrote this like a week ago because I kind of forgot what was on it. See if you can hold your belly at the same time while you're doing these. Sorry. Okay, the next one we're lifting the hips. So, exhaling on the lift. Try not to fall over in the middle of it. 6, 7, I'm just keeping it real. 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Now let's do the side plank leg lift. And again, I just put these here as progressions, so you could still be doing any version of this that you feel good doing. But just use this time to do something at least. If you don't like any of these, you can just be in a plank. Just make sure that you're doing something with this time instead of sitting there being like, all pissed off, like what the shit. I don't like those exercises. Okay. Hamstrings, dumbbell deadlift or exercise ball. Oh yeah, this is the one that I asked you, did you have an exercise ball? And you said yes. And I'm going to show it to you on a ball that we're just going to pretend is an exercise ball. So I know this is way smaller, but imagine it's big because I don't have one at the moment. Or at least I haven't blown it up, let's be honest. Now, we're just going to get into position. So our back is resting down on the floor and our feet are on the ball. This is going to look so weird because I don't have an actual exercise ball. So I'm just going to lift my hips and then I'm going to bring my heels in towards my body and back out again. Whoa. We're to this in a basketball. This should be better for you when you're using your actual proper ball, yeah? So my hips are lifted. I'm balancing somehow on my ball. Let me see if I can focus here. Okay. And then I'm just drawing the ball in towards me. So actually, I'm thinking about the size of the ball. So you're probably going to be starting with your the back of your calves, you know, where your back of your ankles, like this, and you're going to be drawing it in and out like this. Except your hips are going to be lifted. So lift your hips, and you're going to be going like this. And this is going to be great for strengthening the backs of your hamstrings. Let's see if I can try one with my hips lifted. With this tiny ball, I can't. The ball is too small. Okay, so you just have to imagine my hips are lifted. And I'm drawing my knees to get like in like this, spiking up and straight. You'll feel it in your abs as well. And the backs of your legs, your hamstrings. It would be great if you could do, you know, start off with 5, 5, and 5, and then work up to 10. Little break, 10, little break, 10. That would be really good. Again, they're ones you could just do any time of day. I'm sure the kids would think they're really funny as well. Another exercise that works the backs of the legs is the deadlift. So, if I keep training you, get you ready for your wedding, then we're going to be doing deadlift. So we're going to put the hips back, drawing the weights down towards the mat, and then Keeping the legs nice and straight. Drawing the weight down towards the mat and really nice strengthening for the back of the legs and the back. And really nice to do this movement, I think, after doing those yoga back strengthening movements that we did earlier today. I mean earlier in the program. Super. So that was your hamstrings. Next one we're going to look at is our seated row for our back. We're going to take our resistance band for this. Just going to take our 2 feet together and we're going to be sitting up nice and tall, holding ourselves with our abdominal muscles as we would normally do if we're going to go for a forward fold. Except we're going to wrap the band around the middle of the feet. So not too high, around the middle of your feet, yeah? It might be more comfortable to do this with shoes on. I don't think any of the things we're doing actually require shoes, so we're probably okay. Alright, so just get yourself a good amount of resistance that you should be able to get your elbows and draw them back, a little bit back behind your body. So if I'm looking at myself in the video, I want to be seeing, you see the way you can see a tiny bit of, what would you call it, the wall behind me, in between my elbow and my body. So there I'm getting my elbows back far enough. So first we're going to just roll the shoulders up, back and down, draw the shoulder blades together, strengthen through the abdominal muscles, and then we're just pulling the band back so the elbows get a little bit further behind the body. You can almost see that tiny little bit of grey behind there. Imagine your abdominal muscles helping you with each row. You're exhaling and your abdominal muscles are really assisting you to get this row done. So we're not forgetting about the abdominal muscles halfway through because we're zoning out, because they're actually helping us with the row. Okay, we're going to take a little break and we're going to do another 10 and then another 10. About 38 minutes, that's grand. Now check the band again, check see if it's like the same amount of resistance both sides. Get yourself all set up for a nice good movement. If you can just about get them to this position like it's hard, then that's perfect. Now let's check that we're setting up nice and tall, that our abdominal muscles are engaged. And let's go. 9, 8, 7. I wanted to say something encouraging like, you're looking great. I'll just assume that you're doing great. 5, 4. Pulling those shoulder blades towards each other. Using the abdominal muscles to help you to do the work. 2, and 1. We take one more little break and we're going to go for another round of 10. We're doing really well. We're getting towards the end. I'll tell you how many more weights things you have to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more weights exercise and we're into our cool down. So we're doing super. Okay, let's get set up for our last set of rows. So your band is in the right position. It's not up too high, so it's gonna not gonna come off and hit you in the face. It's nice and low, somewhere between your heels and your ball of your foot. We're getting the right amount of resistance. Rolling the shoulders open, drawing the shoulder blades down and towards each other. Taking a deep breath in, exhaling, drawing the belly in, getting it in position. We're holding that belly. And then inhale to straighten the arms. Exhale, bring the shoulders back. Inhaling to straighten. Exhale, shoulders back. This is our last set now. Let's make a count. Visualizing the muscles that we're working, visualizing the back and the abdominal muscles assisting. Going into your last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woohoo! Strong back. Let's do it. What's next? Lateral raised dumbbell for medial deltoids. I know what this is. All right. We're going to start off with our super lightest weights for this one because it's harder than it looks. Okay, so we're going to take our dumbbells, stand with our feet hip distance apart, slight tiny little bend in the knees. Check that our pelvis is in the right position so we're not having our pelvis forward, bum back, and we're not having our bum tucked too much in the pelvis back. So we're in our nice neutral position here. We're holding our belly in. We're really going to use our belly for support during this exercise. Let's roll the shoulders up, back, and down, and let's kind of pinch the shoulders towards each other, okay? As if you're trying to get your shoulder blades to touch each other. We're going to inhale, and on the exhale, we're just going to bring the arms up parallel to the, to the floor. Exhale, parallel, inhale down. And we're going to keep the shoulder blades, I don't know if you can see, drawing in towards each other the whole time. Keep going. So you're on your lightest dumbbells for this. And once you feel like you've got this, you're not really feeling very much, let's say the next time you do this program, then you can just start to increase the weight a little bit. Stay on the lightest ones for now because you really find, because it's a long lever, meaning that the hands are far away from the shoulder, your shoulders actually, it's kind of like it's lifting more weight. Like if this was right beside the shoulder, it would be really easy to lift. Because it's far away, it's harder. And we rest for a few breaths. We're going to do 3 rounds. 3 is the magic number. And then let's get our weights and we get in position again. Feet are hip distance apart. We have a little bend in the knees. Our shoulders are rolling up, back, and down. We're drawing the shoulders down. We're drawing the shoulder blades towards each other strongly for this exercise. And let's keep that belly nice and strong. Exhale on the lift. Inhale back down again. So let's focus on keeping those shoulder blades down and back. And see if you can focus on using your abdominal muscles to help you with the lift as well. Really nice way for us to go about this is the way that I'm doing it. Sorry for bigging myself up here, blowing my own trumpet or whatever, but it's really nice to just focus on your form and focus on that connection to the muscles. And then when we do go to lift bigger, you'll have your form down, so it will be easier for you to just build up on the weight there and start really toning your shoulders. Fabulous. Okay, we might have done 10 there with all that waffling I did. So we take a little break. I kind of need to hurry up if I want to get this inside of 1 hour, which is my target. And let's go for our 3rd round. Slight bend in the knees, shoulders back, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, tucking, holding ourselves there, nice abdominal muscles there. Inhaling, exhaling to shoulder height or slightly above and down. There's no benefit to going way up like this. That's not the exercise, that's something else. Yeah? So we're just going to go shoulder height, slightly above shoulder height, that's good. Nice full deep breaths. Brilliant. Okay, we're doing fabulous. The next one is our lying chest press. So we're going to lie down on the mat and we're going to get a slightly heavier weight. I actually don't have super heavy weights. I only have a single one. So we're going to do, I've got 2 kilos. But should you know what? Start with 2 kilos or whatever. Start light and then you can work it up from there, okay? Just lying down on the mat. And we're going to have the feet planted on the mat, nice and strong foundation. We're going to press the whole back into the mat, so pressing the lower back into the mat. And then you're going to take your dumbbells. Now, you take them like this when they're light, but when they're heavy, you should actually be like this. Take your dumbbells and rest them against your legs. And then, like, roll back like this with your dumbbells. You know, like if they're really heavy. Okay. Now let's take the arms out. So your elbows are out at, they're kind of diagonal, so they're not exactly up in line with your shoulders. And they're not down towards your body either. They're somewhere in the middle. And we're going to exhale, pushing them up towards the ceiling. Inhale all the way back down again. Exhale to the ceiling. Inhale all the way back down again. So we're looking to feel this in our pecs. So basically our chest muscles, which is fabulous exercise for women to do because we really want to keep going there. I'm just having a sip of water. We really want to give ourselves like a natural boob lift so that our muscles nice and strong are going to be holding our boobs up. My cold is catching up for me now with me now. I'm feeling very dry. Okay, so once you've done 10, take a little rest. And we're going to go again for another 10. Again, if they're heavy, you might want to put them like this. And then sort of take yourself down like this. We probably won't be getting there for ages. You know me, I'm looking at all this kind of men's fitness, like big hulky guys, and I'm taking all the tips from them. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to be there for a while. And we're probably fine. Exhaling, pushing them up. Inhaling back down. Now, even if they're light, we can still be working on our form, yeah? So if they're kind of jiggling all over the place, try and get it nice and straight. Nice, straight, kind of fluid movement. Yeah, this is very light. If it feels very light for you and you happen to have maybe 5 kilo, that might be better. Because sometimes it can be even harder doing it with a lighter weight if it's crazy light. Anyway, you can ask me whatever questions you want about weights and things. Okay, let's imagine that we've done 10 because I'm not timing it. Taking another little break. After this, we've only got 2 more weights exercise and we're down to our cool down. So we're doing super well. Little break. The heavier your weights you get, the longer break you're going to take. So little break for now. Once we start loading on heavier weights, then we can take a longer break. Okay, getting into position. Exhale, as if you're, I guess, punching the wall, the ceiling. See if you can get your abdominal muscles to help you a little bit with this. And focusing on your pecs as well, your pectoral muscles, the muscles that hold your boobs up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woohoo! Okay, let's move on to our biceps. So, I'm going to have to move the video again. So you're going to need 2 dumbbells for this. So our biceps are these muscles on the front of our arm, yeah? So we're going to get in our position with our knees slightly bent. We're going to get our pelvis in its neutral position, holding the belly in, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. We're going to take the elbows in close to the body. We're not going to let them be out here. They're going to be in close to the body. And we're going to get our grip here on our dumbbells. And we're going to exhale, drawing the dumbbells up towards our shoulders. Inhaling back down. And we're not taking a rest here. We're not like dropping them being like, oh, that's great. Keeping a little bit of a tension in them the whole time. Exhale. Inhale back down. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale back down. Engage your core to help you with this exercise. Try and relax your neck and shoulders a little bit. Let's say we've done 10. I wasn't counting. Take a little break. Yeah, we're starting with 3 sets of 10. And we're going to be able to move to 3 sets of 12, 3 sets of 15. And then we'll be able to up the weights and move the sets back down again. So lots of little changes that we can make so the body is always adapting and always building more beautiful muscles on the arms so that we look nice and toned and we have some shape and definition in our arms. Let's go for our second set. Knees have a little bit of a bend in them. Feet are slightly wider than hip distance or hip distance. Whatever feels good for your body, whatever feels nice and stable. Shoulders are rolling up, back, and down. Elbows are tight into the side body. 10. 9. Engage in the abs. 8. Nice full breaths. Focus for the last 5. 4. 3. We're not going down all the way. We're still having a little bit of tension in it. 2. And 1. Yay, we did it. One more set of those biceps, and then we'll be moving on to our triceps in the back. And then our arms are going to be looking gorgeous. Okay, lovely. Let's go for our last set. Feet hip distance apart, slight bend in the knees, shoulders up, back, and down, belly in, and 10. 9. Nice full breaths. Giving it everything now. This is your last opportunity to tone your biceps in this practice. 4. Getting everything out of these last few reps. Don't be, Don't be like encouraged to, tempted. Don't be tempted to quicken up your last few, yeah? Just to get through them. Keep going at your nice normal pace. Woohoo! We did it! Okay, last one we're going to do is our triceps. And I'm going to choose my heavier weight here. My big weight. It's not that heavy. It just looks really big. This is 4.5 kilos. So, you know what I think would be nice? Okay, let's do one first. So we're going to do the right one. We're basically, I'm not giving any instructions here, am I? You can stand with your feet hip distance apart, or one foot in front of the other can feel nice as well. For this one, hold your belly in. Take your elbow so that your upper arm should be in line with your ear and even touching your ear, yeah? And your elbow is kind of above your shoulder. And we're basically, it depends on, okay, let's just do them like this. What I was trying to say to you is we could do one right, one left, and then one together. So let's try a lighter weight for the right one, okay? So we have this here. I'm just going to lift it up a little bit higher so you can see properly. I just think it's a really nice way of working them to create balance. So we're going to do just with our right arm. We're going to be inhaling, exhaling to straighten. Inhaling back, exhaling to straighten. Inhaling back, exhaling to straighten. And if you find that your elbow is wobbling all over the place, you can take your left hand and just hold the right elbow in place with your left hand without putting any pressure on you, just holding it there. This is what I was trying to show you very awkwardly before. Okay, now let's do the left arm. So again, one foot could be in front of the other, or you could be hip distance apart. It's fine now, okay? Because we're doing our triceps, it doesn't matter. We're going to take our elbow up in line with the shoulder, up above the shoulder. And we're going to be exhaling to straighten the arm, inhaling, lifting that weight back. Nice and strong in the abdominal muscles. And if you find like, oh, I'm wobbling all over the place, hold that elbow in place, and that can help you. Inhaling down, exhaling up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, we've done a light weight on the right, we've done a light weight on the left. Now, we're going to take a weight and do it, a heavier weight for the two of them together. So you can clasp your fingers here, like so, and one thumb over the other thumb at the back. You're just holding the weight like this. We can take our feet hip distance apart, and we can have both of the elbows are up at the same time. Core is engaged. We're inhaling down, exhaling. Inhaling down, exhaling up. Just check to see that your elbows are nice and tight in towards your ears. Your fabric of your top might be brushing against your ears as well. You don't want to be like this. Yeah, you want to be in like this. Now, once you've done 10, I want to cross the thumb over the other way. Yeah, you can even do the whole thing the other way. The odd way, like whatever way you wouldn't normally do it, clasp your hands the other way, like we always say in yoga, yeah? And we're going to do our last 10 reps this way. So the same thing, just the thumbs and the fingers across the other way. Okay, so now I can explain to you what I was doing. So we did right arm, left arm, then we did crossover one way and crossed over the other way. Why would she want to make things so weird and complicated? Well, there's a reason. It's because of any potential imbalances. So your right arm or left arm might be, stronger. Probably the right arm is stronger because we do more daily tasks with our right arm. Like I'm feeling this more in my left arm. So I just think it's really nice to train in this way so that we get a good amount of tone on both sides. Okay, and we're going to do 10 here. So let's just imagine we've done 10. And yep, we're down to our cool down. We're at exactly 1 hour now, so we do a nice quick cool down and we're going to be done. Okay, so what are we going to do for our cool down? What on earth? Standing side stretch, arms forward, back. Oh yeah, okay, standing side stretch. So we're standing. Inhale to reach the arms up. Now hold on to the left wrist with the right hand. Inhale up and over to the right. Always really nice to stretch out the side body. You notice I didn't do too much stretching as such before the class. And that's because if you do stretching before you lift weights, you won't get as much strength in your weights. Yeah, because your body will think, oh, she wants to be all nice and stretched. We'll just get all stretchy and loose for her. Whereas what you want is you want strength for your weights. So after you stretch, your body will stay kind of stretchy for about 30 minutes. So that will really impact on your weight session. So I did some movements but it wasn't specifically like a big stretch like we're doing now, yeah? I wouldn't advise doing those kind of stretches before you lift weights. And then I said I want to do arms forward and back. Okay, so let's clasp the fingers and arms forward. You can push those clasped fingers, hands away from you, so we're like rounding out the back. And then let's open up the shoulders and take the arms back behind us. We can clasp the hands and just open out the back this way. I'm just looking to see what else I have. Side lying, standing hamstring stretch. Oh, I know, hamstring stretch. Let's just move this down a little bit. So we're going to do some standing hamstring stretches. So basically, let's do like a forward fold. So let's inhale to lengthen through the spine, exhale, hinging at the hips, and just coming down into a forward fold. Now you might sometimes bend your knees in a forward fold, that's fine. Let's see what you can do if you can straighten out your legs. It doesn't really matter where your upper body is in space, because this is not yoga, this is just a regular stretch, yeah? So we're stretching out the hamstrings. We're going to come back up and we're going to step the right foot to the other side of the left foot. So we basically crossed our knees. Let's straighten both the legs. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, folding over. Still working into the hamstrings, but just a different way. We used to always do this after kickboxing. I really like this stretch. I practiced kickboxing for I think 5 years. I was never a fighter, but you know, I loved the sport. I loved having fun. Let's come back up again. And now we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to like cross the left leg over the right. Straightening both legs. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to stretch over the leg. Okay, let's plant our palms down and step back into a down dog. And just pedal out the feet a little bit. Just ad-lib a little bit here. I'll do a few basic stretches and then I'll give you a bit of optional stuff afterwards maybe. Alright, so I was going to say we're going to do a little balasana. We'll definitely do a few breaths in balasana. Coming up onto hands and knees now, your tabletop position. We're going to go down to Anahata. So we're going to stretch the arms out in front of us and bring the forehead down to the mat. And a nice variation here, if it feels good for you, is to take the hands into prayer hands and just rest them at the back of your neck. Take a couple of breaths here. This is a lovely pose for just mitigating those effects of modern life where we're sort of sloping over our devices and stuff. Hunching, I guess. A few breaths in Anahata. And then we're going to make our way down to our bellies for our quad stretch. And let's just rest one arm in a kind of a diagonal position and then bend into the other knee. And depending on how tight your quads are, quad is the front of your thigh, you may only get here. I don't remember from class how you work this, so you might be able to reach your arm back and hold onto your foot. And it might feel good for you to press that foot down towards your bum. And you might also even be able to turn your fingers so they're pointing in the same direction as your feet. And again, you just need to do this as much as feels good for you in your body, as much as you need today. Really nice to kind of stretch out the quads after working on the quads. Won't be such a big deal while you're on your light weights, but as you kind of ramp up the weights, it'll be really good. I don't know, even with your light weights, I mean, if you haven't been lifting any weights and you suddenly start lifting light weights, it's such a shock to your body that your body will adapt by building some nice muscle definition. So it'll be great. That's kind of the minimum. You can turn it off now if you want, because we've gone 1 minute, 1 hour and 5 minutes. Otherwise, let's go for our little frog stretch where we just take that right knee and just push it up as far towards our face as possible. And just taking a few relaxing breaths here. Nice full breath, so we're really inhaling, filling our body with oxygen, exhaling, releasing all that tension, yeah? We were using tension a lot during our class to tone the muscles, and we've done it now. It's time to release that. We don't want to bring that into our day with us. We want to just release, let it all go. Let's go for that frog pose on the other side. So we're just going to take the right knee and just slide it up along and see how far it comes. This would probably be a nice time now after all these exercises and stretches and stuff to do your ball rolling, whatever that ball is called. Foam rolling? But not exactly, whatever the ball is. Physio ball rolling maybe. Definitely want to do a twist as well. If I were you, I would go for a happy baby first. So taking the knees into your chest, arm between the knees, hold on to the outside of the feet, and go with a lovely happy baby. Oh, just great stretch for the hips, feeling super good. You can even like lengthen out one leg, lengthen out the other. Do any movements that feel good. Holding onto your feet, hugging your feet, loving your feet and loving your whole body. I love you. You are so fantastic. I'm always appreciative of my body, but especially in moments like when you're just getting over a cold or something, you're just able to like move and breathe really well, and just what a joy it is to be alive in your body. So cool. We're going to go for a twist, so crossing the right leg over the left, bumping the hips a few inches to the right and allowing the knees to fall down to the left as you turn your head to look over your right shoulder. Using your breath to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. With each exhale, you're just allowing your shoulders to melt their way down towards the mat a bit more. If you have sort of whatever tightness you have going on in your hips and pelvic girdle pain and stuff, this might be too intense for you. So instead of crossing the knees, you could just not cross the knees and then let them go over to the side. That might feel better. Let's come back to center, cross the other way, bump hip to the left, and allow knees to fall over to the right as you turn your head over your left shoulder. I kind of want to make it a 2-hour class now, but anyway, we've done a lot. We just hit all the kind of muscle groups and main things that I wanted to work on for you. So I'm very happy about that. And it was only a bit of ab exercise in the beginning, but you see all the weight exercise, you're engaging your core as well. So if you remember that and develop that recruitment pattern of recruiting those core muscles to help you with the weights, you're going to have lovely strong abs as well. So I think you're going to be fantastic, and let's just sit up for a moment, and if you have another 2 minutes to spare, you could even set your alarm for 2 minutes and do a little meditation. Otherwise, thank you very much, and let me know what you think.